everyone, thank you for joining me for my Try It Out Tuesday. I'm Tina, and for my Try It Out Tuesday series, I'd like to try out new stamps. They may not be the latest or the greatest, but they're stamps that I like and that I've purchased, and I thought that we could make a card together using them. So that's my Try It Out Tuesday series. Now I'm using the stamp set from Your Next Stamp. It's the cutest little Space Boy stamp set, and I've never ever made a space card. I always liked girly cards, so I thought it'd be fun just to try something different. And so I'm gonna just ink up these little images with Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and then I'm gonna stamp them on some white cardstock using my Mini Misty. Now I stamped the little astronaut Space Boy, and then I stamped the cutest ever little alien, and then also a space or a planet. So I'm just using my alcohol markers to color in these images. Now I want to let you know that the alcohol markers that I'm using, they're called Bianyo, and I'll leave a link below in the description area to where you can find them, but they are very inexpensive alcohol markers. Now I've never tried the Spectrum Noirs, and I've never tried the Copics. I'm just not ready for the Copic investment yet, I guess you could say. And these work really good for me. They work on all different kinds of cardstocks, and I find that they blend really well. I'm not an expert in coloring, but I just love to color, and so these are just what I'm used to and what I like, and they're very inexpensive. So I just thought I'd share that a little bit with you. Now these images were so adorable to color in, and I just love that little alien. Oh my goodness. So now I go ahead and I cut them out using the coordinating dies, and I'll leave links below to where you can find the stamp set with the dies. But I have my little images. Now we're going to work on our card base. I'm taking the largest circle die that I have, and I cut out a circle. Now I'm only going to use half of that circle, and I'm going to use the other half to actually use so I can hold it as I heat emboss it. So I'm going to take my ruler here, and I'm just going to draw a line to where I definitely want the embossing to go. And then the other extra part I'm going to use as like just a part where I can hold it. First of all, I'm taking my Versamark ink, and I'm inking up that half circle really well. And then for my stash, I have some silver embossing powder. This is by Nuvo, and I believe it is Simply Silver. Or Classic Silver. Let's see. Classic Silver, I'm sorry. And I went ahead and heat embossed that. And I wanted to make like a crater effect for this card, and I know that if you layer embossing powder, it gets really thick, and so I'm going to attempt to make like a 3D layer kind of a planet. So this is the second time around where I've let it dry, and I went back over it with some more of that classic silver, and this is actually the third time now where I've went over it with some more embossing powder. So I have 3 layers. Now it didn't give me the depth that I was actually looking for, but I think it turned out pretty cute. It did give us a little dimension to my card, and so that's what I was going for. Now for this last layer, I'm just going to finish off and heat set that. And then I'm going to, from anything on my table that I could find that had a round bottom, like I have this jar of glitter. While that embossing powder is still thick and hot, I'm going to take that circle on the bottom there, and I'm going to place it right on that that silver embossing. You have to wait a little bit for it to dry before you can lift it off, but see, it created kind of like a crater on my planet, and so I'm just grabbing different things off my desk. Like I did grab a spritzer bottle, and then I went back with that glitter bottle, and I did that all around that area, and the effect that it gave was really neat. And then on that, and then after I got all my little craters made, I did heat it up a little bit and then added some silver glitter just to make it a little bit shiny. And so that was my planet. So now we need a little space background. So I'm grabbing this is Walnut Stain distress ink. Now I wish I had a gray or a black distress ink, but I didn't have any of those. So I kind of improvised and used my walnut stain. And then I'm grabbing seedless preserves, festive berries, ice spruce, and any dark colors that I could find. I grabbed and I put on my little panel here. And this is Strathmore Bristol smooth cardstock. When I did activate it with some water, the red really popped, so I went back over it with some of the salty ocean. Okay, so now that my little space background is done, I think it turned out pretty cute. I mean, I need to invest in some gray distress ink. I really do. This kind of helped me out with that. But I'm stamping the sentiment, "Your Space-tacular," and then I'm heat embossing it with white embossing powder. And then I'm taking my stitch rectangle die and I'm just going to go over this and create a panel for my card base. Now for this card I decided to use a gray card base. It's a standard A2 size top folding card, and it's a gray, like a smoky gray. And so I'm taking that little space background and I'm going to pop that up using some fun foam, and I'm just going to trim it down so it fits on the back. When I use fun foam, I always purchase the fun foam that has the adhesive back. So basically all I have to do is add adhesive to one side, and I really think that's easier for me, and I like that idea. Now I'm going to place my little space panel directly on my card base. Lovely. I'm going to grab a piece of foam tape. I'm going to trim this down real fast first. Just trim that bottom part off. And I think this would be a fun little card for a little one who loves astronauts and space figures. This turned out so cute. I was so happy to do this card. I just added a little piece of foam tape on the bottom, and then I'm directly adhering my little planet. But you can see it adds a little bit of a dimension. If I had a little more time, I think I would probably heat emboss it like 5 times to get a really cool effect. But I'm just adhering my little elements to my card base. Lovely. Okay. Now I think that looks so cool. I think any little boy having a birthday would really appreciate how this turned out. I'm taking some glossy accents and going over the helmet and the gloves and this little astronaut's shoes. And then I didn't want to take away from my little planet that we created, so I decided to grab some silver stickles and just dot little dots of that all over my space background. You know, after I did this, I just loved the way that looked. I mean, it looked very subtle, and it didn't take away from my planet element, but I really liked the little stickles added. Now for finishing touches, I'm going to faux stitch around that area, and then I'm going to add some black Nuvo crystal drops to the eyes of my alien and my space boy, and that's it. I think he just turned out so cute. I love Space Planet cards. I think I'll be making more of these. It was so fun. Thank you so much for stopping by, guys. I'm wishing you a lovely Tuesday. If you like this tutorial, give me a thumbs up, and if you're new, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you soon.